Hello and welcome, guitar fans, to the channel. My name is Henning Pauli and the channel name is HP42. Let's get that out of the way. Today we're looking at literally nothing special. But just like music, sometimes a song doesn't have to be original and have Alpenhorn in it in 7/8 and be cool and complicated to be very, very good. Sometimes the very normal axis of awesome chords, totally straightforward, 120 beats per minute, 4/4 song with a male vocal that is just a good hook is good. Sometimes what we know, when it's done really well, can very much impress. That's what we got here. We have the Harley Benton Carlos Asensio signature. Harley Benton started doing signatures years ago, and I'm going to rub it in. I had the very first one, which is now out of production. And then I started doing signatures with other influencers. And when I introduced my very good friend Carlos Asensio to Harley Benton, behind closed doors, I didn't even know they were working on this. And now they're like, hey, by the way, we got a signature guitar. So full disclosure, first of all, I've been working with Harley Benton a long time. You know I say good things about them, but I also say honest things about them. And I say, well, bad things about them if they're bad. And I will critique one or two things on this as well. So first, disclosure, I know Harley Benton and Thomann. Second, they're paying me for this video. And you can turn off now and say, oh, but then it's not a review. Oh yeah, it is. Because I know we've discussed this a lot. It's very hard to believe that if someone is friends with someone and they're getting paid for it and they're friends with someone else on top of that, that they can still be honest. It's almost impossible, you think, but it actually is. All that it takes is you have to want it. You have to want to be honest. And my friendships mean nothing when it comes to the review. Talking about friendships, Carlos Asensio is one of my best friends. You might not know him. You might not know him. I've spent a lot of time with Carlos on an island and in Japan and on a cruise ship and many other places. You might not know him because his channel is in Spanish. And before I knew him, I didn't know him. That's a sentence that I just said. Carlos is big. Not in the pants. Have no info about that. That's a lie. I mean, what was I going to say? Carlos is huge as a channel. Carlos speaks to a Spanish-speaking community of 4.3 million subscribers. That's completely ridiculous. And we don't know him because we don't speak fucking Spanish. And we're missing out on a lot because Carlos's channel is amazing. History, lessons, jokes, great reviews. That kid produces amazing videos. Visually, well-researched. Carlos is where he is with his 4.3 million subscribers because he is absolutely amazing at the job of being a guitar YouTuber. Which is why it makes super sense for him to have a signature guitar. And just like me, a Super Strat with a humbug in the back, HSS, is his weapon of choice. I know he's got a Tyler, and that's, the kind of thing that he goes for, as would I. You might not know him. You might not go to his channel and subscribe, which I recommend. But that guy knows what he's doing. When he's in front of the camera, he's on. Off camera, he's a spaz. Carlos, you're a spaz. I think we all need a Carlos in our lives. And that's the truth. So, let's talk about this thing. Actually, let's take it out of the box. Please notice that there are a bunch of springs that you can see taking out of the box that come with the guitar. And we're going to get into that in a sec. Okay, moving on to some product shots that my lovely wife Leslie edited. Here we go. So before we get into the track, let's talk about this. This is a super strat. It comes in this, whatever they call it, blue, which is tough to film. It like really reflects because it's blue Pelham something sparkle. It's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful color. And it also comes in a kind of seafoam green sparkle cactus, whatever they call it. Really, really cool color. I think I've seen a sewer once that had a very similar color. So we've got these two colors. We got HSS pickups from Tesla. We got a 5-way switch. We know that. We've got a switch that if you flip it up, it goes into single coil. It's not the greatest single coil sound in the world, but it makes the in-between position a little bit more stratty. So we got that. We got volume, tone, jack on top, and I'm going to say many things about all that. In the back, there's a bigger cutout here for the bigger trem to access that. And we can see that that's a very triangular trem block there. It really goes up. It is thicker, but thinner at the bottom. Leslie pointed out and yelled at me, why are these two screws not parallel? Only Harley Benton and Carlos know. That's a screw-spiracy. We have this Verjüngung, as we say, youngifying, this cutout here to get a little bit into the higher range. And of course, this is beautifully rounded off. And you're already noticing the ridiculous flame maple neck. I have necks like this on guitars from Shabbat, and they're amazing guitars. And those guitars are in the 7,000 euro range. So this truly is a beautiful piece of wood. I never said to Carlos. You can hear this. There's a bit of a Wackelkontakt, as we say in German. A wiggly contact, loose contact thing happening. That could be better. I also wish that this was on the side because it's a modern Strat. We only have two knobs. The look isn't stratty. It doesn't have to be stratty. So having this here would be, I think, nicer. We have silver surrounds around the lumen lace on the side. I mean, all these features are ridiculous. There you can really see it. Silver surrounds, so they really light up, not in the dark, but in the dark, the lumen lay really stands out. We have vintagey looking Harley Benton branded locking tuners. They are absolutely buttery smooth. Here's Carlos' signature. We have string trees right here. I wish there were Graphtec, but they'll do the job. I pointed out on the ST Modern, why don't they have staggered tuners? That's just a feature that is even cooler, right, than these cool locking tuners. And look what Harley Benton did. If you can see that, the tuners are now staggered. High, low. So, right there. So we have these very high-end features. Staggered tuners, lumen lace silver surrounds, amazing flame neck, which of course flame will vary. Really cool, flawless paint job. HSS switch. The switch bugs me a bit because they do the same, there's the same mistake that Ibanez Prestige makes. The washer is supposed to be flipped around and this little lid, this little nipsy here, the nipple, goes into wherever this is installed so that the washer doesn't turn around. But because there's nothing to go into, they flip it around and this little nipsy stands out. Instead of buying a bag of 2,000 washers for $1.50, they use the ones that come with the switch, and these switches are usually for, switch boxes or whatever. So this has no reason to be there, no raison d'être, as they say in French. It's not a bad thing. I see it on pedals as well, but it's a little detail. Get a replacement washer and don't have that. Once I pointed that out with Ibanez, all of a sudden, the next batch was fine. So it's just an oversight, I would say. But again, what's the price range here? Talking about price range, we've got the Vigatrem, company from Spain that makes one of the nicest high-end trems, replacement trems on the market that you really only see in boutique guitars, because that baby here is close to $300 by itself. I'm not kidding you, it's $279 or something. It is small, in a big cavity here. It doesn't sit on top of the guitar. You can see it's actually floating freely. See this? We have these screws in the back here this is not just a nice trem. It's the trem that you wish your guitar had. $279 only for this. And the whole guitar is $599. I think it's ridiculous to put a Vigatrem in a Harley Benton, but that makes this guitar at $599 probably the most impressive Super Strat at that price range on the market. I know I review budget guitars and other guitars and Henrys and whatever, and they are great guitars, all that, but a Super Strat with that neck and a Vigatrem at $599, you literally can't beat that. If playability and sounds are there. Well, for that, I did a very schmaltzy, kitschy song in Spanish about my friend Carlos, of course, aided by AI. I replaced all the instruments, kept the vocals, everything else is from me. And that is not to show you, hey, here's a great song, but to have a playground for me to play around with this guitar and pay homage to my good friend.
Amanecer sobre el puente de Triana, borroso. Otra noche, otro concierto, un zumbido. Café negro y fuerte, sin azúcar, mi nueva guitarra, mi única plegaria. La vida es un desastre, lo confieso. Ay, mi vida, ay, mi alma, me completas y me calmas. Con la cámara encendida, brillo fuerte, cobro vida, y en la oscuridad me guía. Mi guitarra es mi vida. Hacemos las paces en este viaje salvaje, nunca termina. La vida es un desastre, lo confieso. Ay, mi vida, ay, mi alma, me completas y me calmas. Con la cámara encendida, brillo fuerte, cobro vida, y en la oscuridad me guía. Mi guitarra es mi vida. Algunos dicen que estoy loco, otros dicen que soy libre. Este espíritu inquieto que vive dentro de mí. Pero cuando toco, esas cuerdas cantan una cosa hermosa, caótica y maravillosa.
That being said, the thing that's left now is sounds. So let's see. I'm going into the Tone King Imperial through a 412 Greenback loaded cab in the aux. We have truss rod adjustment right here, as I would like to see it. And the inlays they look like plasticky thing, which is, fine. It's $5.99. That is so smooth when it comes to the trimming. Still there. The one thing that bugs me, and I told Carlos that, is the trem arm of the Vega Trem. Actually, it screws in, but it also sticks in, right? So you can pull it out. It's very, very firm. It's got these rubber rings here, which makes it a very, very solid connection with the trem. Probably the best one I've ever seen. And then you still screw it in, right? But it sticks out quite a bit from the guitar. It's fine for playing, totally fine, but there is a bit more arm coming out. And the volume knob, I checked it with other guitars, usually is about here. Like a bit further up and a bit further to the front. Which means when the trem is here and you're playing, getting to the volume is you see, I'm getting stuck there on the trem arm. So the volume, a centimeter higher and more to the front would have been nice, because in the heat of battle, you're playing. It's tough. It's not great volume knob placement. So to reiterate, that's silly on a Harley Benton, but nice. That should be here. There's a little nupsy. And this, not the most solid connection, and should be here. But $5.99 for this instrument, holy crap. Exactly what you want from that position. Anyway, here. Back here. So that's with the humbucker, and that's now the typical Strat in between. So that's only humbucker in the back, only single coil in the back. Not a big fan of that, but humbucker. Moving on, we've got Marshall 1959 modified. That's for the amp cranked. Here's the JCM 800. Volume is weird. Black Cat from Bad Cat, which is very voxy. It's bright, but not too bright. It's insane that this is $599. I mean, that's just the fact. Let's go crazy. We go to the Ref 120 on the purple channel. Oh, as you could see in the unboxing, there are a bunch of different springs, so all the accessories of the bigger trim are included, right? The gate on the Ref is on. Whoops. So this is not your metal axe. Can you get away with it? Into the Ref? Yes. If you want to do modern stuff, come on. You're not getting this, right? But this is an absolutely phenomenal guitar. I gotta say, for the price. And honestly, given all the features, locking tuners, staggered tuners, lumen lace with surrounds, the stunning neck, the paint job, given everything, minus the stuff that I criticized, my honest opinion, 600, 1200, 1800. If it was 3 times the price, you know what? You do it. You go and find a guitar with these features, in these specs, for 1800. Do it. Or 1797. You'll probably get a gig bag or a case with it, okay, and you might get a name that's not Harley Benton on it. But even at 1800, you're not gonna find a guitar with a Vega-trem. You won't. You will find Vega-trems on Shabbats. Okay, but then we're looking at, $6,000. Given the features, this guitar doesn't just punch above its price range. I would say it punches above triple its price. Easily. Exchange the jack. If you want other pickups, usually I would say why exchange the pickups in Harley Benton? They're already great pickups, and these are great pickups, but the bass of the guitar is so good that you might actually want to put some boutique pickups into this baby, and it would absolutely be worth it. This is the guitar, and I am very, very, very happy that it's a signature guitar from one of my best friends. So, well done, Carlos and Harley Benton. That's what I say. I'll put links below, and we got animals at the end as always.
Broke, the stove is black from all the smoke, and his toys are scattered all across the room. The laundry's piling up again. We got no time, I'll tell you when. We'll do it on a rainy afternoon. The house needs fresh paint, the curtains are stained, the bank account's strained, but can we complain? I guess that's just married life. The small imperfections amount to sublime.